working, man. Audio. Use your coat tomorrow. Use your coat. How's that?
Yeah.
Hey, I love it, I love it, I love it. Turn to the person next to you. High five them and say thank you for being here. I want to start with one of my favorite quotes by Roosevelt. Every time I say this quote, it makes me feel like I can play again. You hear that, Jim? Sign him up, Jim! It goes, it's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled or how the doer of deeds could have done them better. The man or woman who counts is the man or woman who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is no effort without no effort without error. Don't be afraid to fail. It's the man who's actually in the arena, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself or herself in a worthy cause, who in the end, at best, knows the triumph of high achievement, but who at worst, if they fail while daring greatly, so that their soul shall never rest with those cold and timid souls that know neither victory nor defeat. I say pull, you say together, pull! Yeah! Pull! Yeah! Pull! Yeah! Some 75 years ago, the Toronto Argonauts. Well, the story began. We were originally a rowing club. And the reason you wear 2 shades of blue today is because as a rowing club, we were fashioned off Cambridge and Oxford. That's where the double blue comes from. Just 6 years junior to the nation itself. We've had some travels. And those travels have taken us to more Grey Cup victories than any team on the I have to say that I haven't experienced a situation where we've been in a better place. It's not just that we won, it's that we're getting better. Jim Pop in the offseason saw that he won the cup and he could have rested on his laurels, but he got better in the defensive backfield where he needed to. He got a little bit more support at the quarterback position. He also went out and secured a couple of other people that are going to help us out. And I want you to prepare some questions for him because he's got answers. In a little bit, he's going to come up and he will share. But I also want to let you know that we got better as an organization. Bill Manning, our new president, you'll get a chance to meet shortly. And he has done what is a marvel with Toronto FC. We tried. Go ahead, give it up to him. Yes. We have strived valiantly many times in this marketplace to, bring soccer alive. Football. The other football. Alive, right? The other football. And now it's not just alive, it's well. And his team may be the best team, on the ground team there is. We've got a lot of new exciting things that are coming up, and you'll be able to ask him some questions. We'll do that a little bit later. But I want you to know that we are in great hands. Our head coach, when he finished his speech at Nathan Phillips Square back in November.
Yeah!
Quoted the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And in it, he said that in a real sense, all life is interrelated. All men and women are caught up in a, inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. In fact, what affects one of us directly affects all of us indirectly. He also suggested that I can't be what I ought to be until you are who you ought to be, and you can't be who you ought to be until I am who I ought to be.
Sounds like the Argo team.
And as we stand here today, I can't be who I ought to be until you are who you ought to be, and all that worked out to be champions. So if you don't mind, just turn to the person next to you and say, I salute you, champion. Go ahead. If you haven't done so already, turn to the person on the other side and say, I salute you, champion. Excitable and one more sleep. First preseason game tomorrow. One more sleep. So I want to say that we are so excited and so appreciative that all of you took the time to come out today. Turn to the person next to you and say, thank you for being here one more time. Please do that. And as well, you need to know that we can't be more excited to host you this year, every game, every time. And do me a favor, don't keep it to yourself. Bring a friend. Would you do that? Turn to the person next to you and say, every game this year, bring a friend. Yeah.
Bring a friend. Bring a friend. Bring 5 friends.
And now, I'd like to introduce or ask Derek Taylor to come to the stage to introduce our next guest, and I'll see you at the end of the evening.
We love you,
I have no idea what you do to follow that. So, my name is Derek Taylor. I'm one of the hosts of TSN Sports Center. Yeah! Has anybody seen the segment I do on TSN, The Details on the CFL? Yeah! According to Pinball, I'm one of the guys who doesn't count, so super excited about being here. Because all I do is count, and I hopefully get to tell great stories about the Argos this season. At least this past season, I didn't do a segment why the Argos wouldn't win the Grey Cup, because I remember doing why the Red Blacks have no chance. And of course, I don't know what I'm doing. How great is this atmosphere? This is fantastic. I appreciate you having me down here and being so kind and welcoming in. Are you excited for every free game to be coming here to party? Bring 2 friends. Get more burgers. Everything. Happy to be here at the Shipyard. Tailgating is coming here. That is so fantastic. And yes, we're very happy to have you here. And really, you guys have questions. It was roses and sunshine on that cold day in Ottawa. Grey Cup champions, but you know what? There's another Grey Cup coming up in Edmonton. And I'm assuming you want to win that too, yes? Yeah! Because you get greedy for it.
Not want you, going to.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Well, let's get up the folks who had the answers to your questions and the people you really want to hear from. New Argos President Bill Manning. And Argos General Manager Jim Pop. Argos president as of 2018. Were you able to get yourself a ring, though? You can make that happen. And
I didn't earn a ring. I didn't earn it yet. So hopefully this year we'll get another one in 2018.
Now we have a bunch of your questions, and we're taking some live as best I know, but I want to start with some questions of my own. And Jim,
By the way, look at this ring. When you see it, the depth of it, the things that went into it, there are things that I can't believe you thought of when building this ring.
Well, all rings have a story. So I'm sure the TFC has a story for their ring. But, we have, for the 17 championships, we got 17 diamonds that are colored in our Cambridge blue. We've got waterfall diamonds across. We got the snowflakes. Signifying the Grey Cup, we have our Grey Cup in the city lines. We're so proud of the city of Toronto. Yeah! We got a diamond in the year 2017 to signify our first championship for Larry Tannenbaum and Judy and Mr. Coates and the whole crew, and we're proud of that. And then you get to the other side, we got our stadium that's our new home that we're very proud to play in, and 105 gram weight ring for the 105th Grey Cup. So there's probably something else to it.
I can't believe you thought to match the weight to the number of the Grey Cup. That one, as a numbers guy, that blows my mind. Please.
And I can make an announcement. So the first game, June 23rd, here, the first 6,500 people will get a replica championship ring.
Maybe we get Jim to throw his ring in the mix for a special 6501 winner.
Yeah, it'd be a lottery system.
There we go. Now, before we get to your questions, I have a couple of my own. Jim, I want to start with you.
Okay.
And I want to know, what can fans expect to see on the field this season?
Well, what we strive for every year, it's a new team, but we strive to have a very disciplined team, a team that you're proud of, that we come out, we represent the city, but what we try to do is really teach people to be good people, take that teaching to the football field through football, and just do the right things. That's learn the playbook, that's execute the play, and to do big things on the field that the guy next to you is proud of, to call you family and a brother. So we use that type of setting at work. We try to carry it over to the practice field, but all games are the same. I mean, we talk about this. The guys who do it the best on the field are the ones that don't turn the ball over, have the least penalties, have to have a little luck to get either way, and execute the play. And the more we do that, the better chance we're going to have to win. But that really gave us the best chance, and really became a real tight-knit team down the last 9 games of the season. Finishing 7-2, winning the last 4 in a row, and winning that Grey Cup. So we're very proud of it. And for us to get to that Grey Cup is a tremendous turnout and game here in our stadium that helped us get to Ottawa in that nice 30 Fahrenheit balmy weather, and Celsius. I'm sorry, 30 Celsius, and we love that epic snowfall, and we're very happy that we were in an iconic game like that to bring a championship back here.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of people play their part in bringing a championship. You played your part. Coach Mark Trestman played his part. What made it all possible, as you had some time to reflect? What made it possible?
Well, I mean, first of all, what made it possible was being able to really gel the team. That starts with great ownership. We're under that now with the MLSC, but with Larry Tannenbaum having this vision, and Mike Copeland at the time, and then for us to be able to come here, and me able to get Mark to come. But what it all comes down to is really wanting people who want to be in Toronto, who want to be a part of this city, who want to be, and I can tell you, you're not in a better city in North America and maybe in the world of having great sports teams. And that was something that I wanted to be a part of. And we just told our players that that's what you want to be a part of. And we just take that and we built the team that way. Yep.
Tressman said before the season that a repeat isn't possible because every year it's a brand new team. The goal is still the same, even though you just won one. You want to get back to the Grey Cup in 2018. What do you have to do to get there?
Well, that's our goal every year. It is for all teams. We always talk about the players in the room. Some can repeat, but as a team, you don't really say you're going to repeat. It's a new season. The organization can repeat. The organization can repeat. The fans can repeat. In the room, we start from scratch every year. It's from going how you hold a football to the fact of how we're going to do things, even standing up for the anthem. So we go through this whole process. We start from scratch, and we build it along the way. We have a great core of men back. 20 of the 24 starters are back. We picked up some great free agents. We strengthened our team. And now we got to go to the field and play. We got to be a little lucky with injuries, but you got to go to the field, play the game, and as we go through the season, we expect to build stronger and stronger.
Back to back, baby!
You mentioned free agents. Who should we all be looking for? Tomorrow, the second preseason game, and then 18 games of the season. Who's going to catch our eye?
Well, I'm not sure yet, but
you're not going to
we're happy. No, tomorrow what you're going to see is a lot of the younger, new people play. A lot of those 20 guys that are back that were starting last year will not play tomorrow, but you will get to see McLeod Bethel-Thompson playing at quarterback. You'll get to see the new addition of James Franklin playing, a little more Coda Prukop, all those guys at quarterback. You're going to get to see new running backs. We have 3 brand new running backs that are in, vying for a backup job with James Wilder. We got plenty of guys like Timms. Unfortunately, one of the other guys that's really high up right now, but Watson and these guys competing for a receiver's job. That Devere Posey, he's down in the NFL right now. On the defensive side, you won't see them, but great additions with our new guys, Heath. Coming in and going to be able to play, a great role for us. I mean, he led the CFL in interceptions last year. Unfortunately, we have guys like Bear Woods that are injured, but on the other hand, we've been able to bring some other players that like Beltray to come off the edge that will be able to step in and compete for a job, since Butler retired. So we're very happy where we are. One of the biggest battles going tomorrow night is the kicker position, and we're going to see who wins that job between Waters and Pepper.
I like that TJ Heath just couldn't stay away. He was traded away. I'm coming back.
Well, he's a perfect example of someone who wants to be in Toronto, and we're very happy to have him back.
Right on. Can I pencil in James Wilder for 2,000 from scrimmage just quickly? Yes? Is that a yes?
You do all your stats. You think the one's supposed to tell us. Is he going to get it?
I made it. Every year I'll get interviewed for the CFL website, and I'll make a bold prediction. Last year it was that Saskatchewan would make the Grey Cup. In December I said Saskatchewan will make the Grey Cup. I wasn't right. This year my bold prediction was James Wilder will win the MOP, which Mike Pringle I think was the last running back to win MOP, but Wilder 86 yards this way, 75 yards that way, 51 catches out of the backfield. It's a lot to work.
No, it is. And the game's changed, but I was very fortunate to be, with and part of Mike Pringle. The one guy that did get 2,000 yards and probably averaged close to 1,700 yards a season, which was remarkable. And he had a lot to thank with the coordinators and Tracy Ham, because Tracy really used Mike to get the most out of Tracy. And he was smart enough to realize that. But what a tandem. And when you have a back like Wilder, I don't know personally that I've been a part of a back that has the opportunity to put up huge numbers, even as a dual player, receiving and running the ball. So there'll be a lot of people, a lot of attention on him, and others have a chance to have big years if they're trying to take James out of the offense.
As Jay Green climbs to the top of the stadium to pick one out of the air as well. Bill, turning to you, he took over as president of the team when they moved to LFC. Your hair must have been on fire these last few months.
I don't have any hair. I tell you, I could listen to Jim talk football all day. It's unbelievable.
What have been your top priorities since taking over?
So the number one priority, I had dinner with Mark and Jim 4 months ago, and they had a really bad situation where the team was housed in Don Bosco. They had to bus all the way up to Downview to train. I'm happy to say that we have fixed that situation. The team is now going to be actually based out of BMO Field, where Mark and his coaches will be. Jim will be right across the street at Rico, and then we'll train at Lamphorn Stadium, which is a couple of minutes away. So the city did a great job working with us on that. So that has been, Jim knows, that has been my number one priority. We used up a lot of political capital to get it done. But we built them a great weight room, and we're building out offices, and the team will be happy and will be in a good place. And for me, and I told these guys, I'm going to be a fan of the football team. I'm not going to be involved in decisions and all that like I am in the soccer team. I'm going to be a fan, but I want to do whatever I can do to help Jim and Mark win football games. And that's what they said to me. They said we need a better practice facility and a better training environment. So that's what I do.
I was talking with one of the players and he said, I can ride my bike to practice. And, you know, whatever political capital you had to expend, having happy employees is not in any way. That's fantastic.
Happy players, right? Happy players play well. And that's really important.
So, as you mentioned, this is one of the best sports markets in North America. An unbelievable run of success, including the Argos Grey Cup, TFC's run in the CONCACAF Champions League. What are the keys to making the Argos sing in this market?
Look, we want to grow fan by fan. It's the energy right now within our company, within MLSE, is really strong around the Argos. The history of the team goes back further than the Maple Leafs, which is amazing. I'm trying to brush up on as much as I can. I grew up in New York. I grew up a New York Giants fan when LT played and Harry Carson, and they won a couple Super Bowls. I was fortunate enough to work for the Philadelphia Eagles when Andy Reid was the coach there, and enjoy the game. I need to learn the CFL version, and I'm going to really take the time to do that. But it is our company really is going to put a big effort behind this team, and we're going to have we're going to try to cross-pollinate it a bit amongst the Maple Leafs fan base, the TFC fan base, the Raptors fan base, and try to bring as much energy as we do to those teams to the Argos. So I think over the next few weeks you're going to see a lot of noise in the marketplace about the Argos. Jim said we're fortunate to have great owners, and they've given me the leeway and the marketing team to really get behind this. And it's not going to happen overnight, guys. But I envision us having the same type of crowds that we enjoy for TFC now, and that's something that I think if we can really put this team back where it needs to be in the Toronto landscape, I think we can do it.
You got the right man at the helm of football, right? Right man in the front office. Now, some folks have submitted questions online before this town hall, so I'm going to read off a few of those and then go to some questions from you folks. We start with, what strategies has the club taken the past year to be more present not only in Toronto but across the Greater Toronto area? Can I start with pull? Pull!
Yeah, so you will see Pull Together is going to be a big part of our marketing campaign. It's something that when Jerry Ferguson and his team did the research on the Argos and how this all came together, and it's something that with the soccer team we have a slogan called All for One. Obviously, the basketball team, We the North. Is this something that can pull everyone together behind the Argos? Can we get the marketplace to get behind the Argos to pull together? The one thing that I've lived here 3 years now, and Jim said this is a great city. I love this city. And what I find is the people who live in Toronto and the GTA love this city. And the Argos have been a massive part of this city for 100 plus years. And now we want the city to take notice and pull together. So we're going to use that.
And if you don't mind, I'll add, with us moving over here to BMO and then practicing at Lamphorn, just so the fans, I know all you here are diehard fans, we know that, but every day practice is open. It's one of the rare sports that every practice is open to the public. We have gentlemen here, everybody here that comes every day. It's open to the public. We're more centralized downtown. Any of you can come out. It's approximately between 11 and 1 every day. We're on the practice field, and we welcome you to come out, bring yourself, but bring plenty of other people, especially young kids, and you'll get to meet a pro athlete firsthand, and they'll spend time with you. And you may not be able to do it on game day.
What are the emotions the Argos are doing this season, especially in terms of fan engagement now that MLSE has taken ownership control of the team?
Yeah, so we've incorporated the guy who runs the Raptors and the Maple Leafs down at Air Canada Center, and we're going to try to bring some of the energy that he has infused in those franchises on game days to bring to the Argos. I'd say we're still very much in that planning stage and fine-tuning it. There's going to be a band. These young men and women that we have over here are going to be involved in our game days and try and, we're going to start here. Stanley Barracks, we think, is going to be a big part of the game day experience. At the end of the day, and I say this on the soccer side too, it's about the game on the field, and we will always respect that. And I find the best ingredient for building a fan base is winning games, and I think Jim and Mark are going to do a great job with the football team. And then we want our fans to enjoy it. We've made the games more affordable so that we can have some ticket prices and so on to hopefully attract some new fans. And the goal is to have a winning team and to make it so that when people leave our stadium on game day, they say, I had a good time and I love seeing the team win.
One of the coolest promotions will be on opening day. We mentioned already, but the replica rings and everybody will get 6,000? 6,000 is fantastic. So bring a friend, but make sure you're ahead of them in line, obviously, right? You want a ring and your friend gets hung up to dry. Another fan asks, will there still be a fan day and other fan-oriented events available throughout the 2018 season?
Yeah, in fact, I've gotten a lot of notes about that. We absolutely going to have a fan day. It's with the team moving to Lamport, we've been a little bit in flux, and they're up in York now. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it during the regular season, and we'll make it a real nice event. We haven't decided yet if we're going to do it in Lamport or do it here at BMO Field, but we will do it this year. And I've done it with some other franchises I've been involved with. It's a great day. I understand it's a big day for the Argos, but absolutely we're going to do it for sure.
I'm going to editorialize a little bit with this next question. There's a lot of Grey Cups going on in Alberta. When are we going to host the next Grey Cup at BMO Field?
So we absolutely want another Grey Cup. I've been attending a number of CFL meetings now. I brought it up with our owners and our executive team downtown. We hosted the All-Star Game. We hosted the Centennial Classic. We had 2 soccer championships here. We had a Grey Cup here. And it is something that we will be putting our name in for, whether it's 2021, 2022 or so, but we plan to host another Grey Cup here. And it's something that I think as we get this football team, up and a stronger presence in the marketplace, hopefully another Grey Cup can even put us over the top.
Jim Pop joins us in the hot seat now. As an organization, a fan asks, you finished last season on a 7-2 run, capping it off by winning the Grey Cup. What is the focus during this preseason and the first few weeks of the season in order to find that early winning consistency?
Well, again, it's paying attention to detail. Again, we go to camp, we start from scratch, and we try to reload in the off season. What's really important for us is to have a unbelievable locker room. Guys get along great so that they will be on the same page at all time with coaches, with support staff. And so when we go through the process, we identify some areas we may need to booster up, we may need some depth, and then we get into the season. Now, we knew going into this season that we got a tough start. I mean, we played 8 straight Western Conference teams. It'll give us a real test. We're the defending Grey Cup champion. Everybody's going to be coming after us. So the key is to sit there and really look at the big picture, what you're really shooting for, and keep that in perspective as you're growing as an organization. But again, if you do what you're asked to do and you do it the right way, most of the time you're going to come out on top.
As we saw, 100-yard touchdowns, you have to be ready to make those plays, right, when they're available.
And not everybody can scoop the ball up and run it back 100 yards. In a blinding snow.
I was on the sideline. I had a tough time walking up and down there, and those guys are going after it. Another question from the fans. Argos seem to be understanding family-friendly cost entertainment. Are you able to offer to a family of 3 or 4 a game plus food like the Marlies for one price?
Yes. Yes, we will have our goal, and really when I looked at the pricing model for the Argos, we have a lot of empty seats, and we needed to attract the families and people to bring out their kids and start a whole new generation of fans of the Argos. And I have a family myself. You have to make it affordable, and so we want to have it so a family can come to a game, get 4 tickets, get a beer, get a soda, get a hot dog, all less than $100, and that is our goal. We will have those packages similar to Marlins, which do really well over here. So the answer is yes.
Another fan wants to know, Leo Cahill was the ultimate Argo. Is there any chance we can honor him with a moment of silence prior to the home opener? Or even consider putting him up on the Wall of Fame?
And Jim knows more about Leo than I've obviously read up on him, and certainly we want to honor him. I mean, anything you want to say on that?
I think, obviously, he's the ultimate Argo and what all he's done and the historic value that he has. And we were having this discussion today. So I think there definitely will be something that the organization does in honor of Leo, and hopefully we can get up on the Wall of Fame, the flag that we have going right now in the stadium, and definitely a moment of silence. It's well deserved. Well deserved.
That's what we're doing now. We're tailgating now.
Not really.
This isn't a tailgate. You broke the news earlier. If you just could, the importance of and the significance of the permanent practice facility or the new practice facility.
Look, with Mark and Jim, it was about it's going to help them prepare the team better to win football games, and that was. Once I heard that, I just set my mind on how can I get this done. And once we got the city engaged, and we owe a debt of gratitude to the Toronto Wolfpack, who helped us out and working with them with our practice times. And those guys were very gracious in trying to make it work. We helped them with getting the turf field down, and so I do want to. I'm glad the applause because they deserve some credit. And then I had to internally work for how are we going to fit these coaches and gym staff, the football operations staff at BMO Field and at Rico, and have permanent football players coming in every single day, and how do we arrange that? And exhibition place was great. We were able to work it through, and now it'll be you're going to move in after the second game, and this is going to be their home, and I'm really excited about that. Someone who manages this facility for the 2 teams, and Nick Eaves, who runs all our facilities. We're really proud that the Argos are going to call this home.
And I'll add to this. This is a beautiful facility. And our guys, when we come in, what locker room we have in this facility prior to making this our permanent home is phenomenal. I mean, we walk in, it is as good a locker room as you could ever have. So having that on an everyday basis is huge. And I can go back the last year. The organization really put a lot of effort into Mark and I's suggestion of finding us a facility. And we went to Bosco, and believe me, the last 8 months, it's done a great job for us. We won a Grey Cup. By the time we settled in there, it wasn't until August. About the same time when we went on our run. So it's really important to have stabilization. And what we're getting to do this year is what we asked for last year. It wasn't possible. And I brought it up to Bill when he first came on board, and he kind of looked at me and I said, seriously, if we could get here, this is really what we want. And he made it happen, and we really appreciate it. Yeah.
We have one last question for the fans online, and this is a tremendous question. It's for you, Jim. What can the CFL do to support and encourage high school, junior, and university football to produce more players at skill positions?
Well, I can tell you, just over the last 10, 15 years, that's been happening. The programs of the younger age groups all the way up. When I first came into this league, this is my 27th season, there were not indoor facilities. There were not a lot of places to train for athletes in the off season. That has all changed. There's a lot of places you can stay in Canada and train, whether you're a youth to a pro level. The coaching has continuously gotten bigger and better. Football is on the mainstream. It's grown. I mean, I was in a place in Quebec that watched over 50 schools start football, and university programs go crazy at being some of the best. It's very easy. The CFL we will always work with, but getting out into those schools, we have a huddle up program, encouraging them, getting with the youth, being mentors, being examples. It's very important. And again, that doesn't mean your child has to play football. We want your kid to. They can have a great time playing flag football, which is done across the country, and that for girls, women, men, kids, it doesn't matter. But the thing is to enjoy it. And the number one thing as a fan is all of you here, I think almost every one of you probably came as a young person. And it's very important to bring the youth out, and it will grow with you and it'll be a part of your life. This is a tremendous, tremendous game to teach you about business and life and how to work with people. It is the ultimate team sport. And as a youth, if you learn that, this will benefit you if you understand that.
And if you have a son or daughter and they can run like Anthony Coombs, who I got to watch through his career, let Jim know. That would be great. I understand we're taking questions from the audience. We have a microphone?
Right?
The gentleman down front.
This is for the stadium manager. We been Argos ticket holders forever, from Rogers Center or Style to here. We sit on the east side, and you cannot buy a hamburger on the east side. The food on the east side compared to the west side and the north end zone, it's sad. You get pizza and beer.
I will guarantee you can buy a hamburger on the east side. That's my promise to you.
There was a stand that was open for one game, and then never saw it again. So
We will fix that.
if you're having a family there, a little more variety in the food would be wonderful.
Food on the east side, yes.
Great. This question from Bill. Sorry if I'm a little bit long-winded, but the demographics in Toronto obviously have changed even since I was a kid. I'm 44, and I can tell you the majority of the people in Toronto, football is not a part of their life. It hasn't been. It's not a part of their kids' life. What are we going to do as an organization to engage a different demographic? Because that different demographic is the future of this franchise. I'll prime example. I lived in Brampton for 2 years. The CBC a few years ago started broadcasting Hockey Night in Canada in Johnny. And I can tell you, when I lived in Brampton, I saw Indian kids playing street hockey in front of their buildings. That's a game changer. And what are we going to do as an organization to get that demographic to become football fans? Because I think it's really important.
No, it is. And I would say there is no magic wand. There's no correct answer. I think soccer has benefited now from a few generations of kids that started playing the game, and now you see them coming out to the stadium. Everyone who I meet and talk to that is an Argonauts fan generally came with their dad when they were younger. And we're not getting that right now, and the fan base has waned, and it's something that I and Chris Schufelt and our marketing team are really going to attack with gusto. My goal is to crawl before we walk before we run, and hopefully this year we can increase our attendance by 1,000, 1,500 or so fans, and then grow it from there. I think again, the first thing we need is good product, and I think with Jim and Mark we'll have a good product, make it a good game day experience, make it affordable so that a family of four or so on can come, so we get the kids, like Jim said, that next generation. Someone like you, 44 years old, maybe you have a family, how doesn't it break the bank for you? And then we have to push it. We have to show that the Argos mean a lot. In MLSE, you'll see in everything we do, and I think this helped the soccer team, the Argos will be right next to the Maple Leafs, right next to TFC, right next to the Raptors. And that's how important it is to our company. And we hope that the community takes notice. And we're going to invite the community to be part of the Argos. We don't want to be, you don't want to be your own exclusive club. And so I think Pinball said, invite someone, bring someone to a game. Let's open it up and try to make it, and not that Mike Copeland and his team didn't make it fan-friendly. I just think with MLSE we have more resources. And so, like I said, I think you'll start to see some of that come to bear. I think our marketing campaign starts this weekend, and then you'll start to see, we're going to try to engage our alumni more and set that up. We just talked about that today, how we can engage them more as we go forward. It's not going to happen overnight. But my goal, it's like I said, I envision how do we sell this game out for every Argos game? Is it 10 years down the road, 5 years? But we have to get there, and it's going to take one fan at a time. That's kind of been my rallying cry, is one fan at a time as we get there. But it is the only way the Argos will be successful in the future is if we have a new generation of fans. The only way we will be. And I'll say, I was in Ottawa last night. Our soccer team, our second team had a game there, and it's where the Red Blacks play. And they told me their average fan are in their late 20s and early 30s, and they've hit it. And so we need, not only the generation that have been coming since the 70s and 80s and the 90s, but a new generation of fans. So your granddaughters and your grandsons and your sons and daughters, we need to engage them.
This question's for Jim. As one of the, if not the most senior and influential GM in the league, can you tell us what the franchise's position is with regard to having Canadian quarterbacks count against the ratio?
Yeah! Oh yeah, I'm one of the, I'll say I'm the number one proponent for that to happen. I've pushed for it for several years. I want the Canadian quarterback to count as a Canadian, especially in the Canadian draft. I dare say that over the last 20 years, I've probably given Canadian quarterbacks, drafted them, picked them up, brought them in, that probably you could take the other 8 teams and total them up. It doesn't add up to it. It's important to me because I know this is, it's like always hearing who's the backup quarterback. Since I've been in this league, who's the next Canadian quarterback? And it's not an easy process to develop young men, okay, at that position, okay, because this is why a lot of U.S. guys get the chance first. They come through highly sophisticated systems. They might have been in an NFL camp a couple times, and we only have 3 weeks of training camp. So you bring a young man in, and there's got to be an incentive in order to keep a Canadian quarterback that's coming out of a youth sport potentially, or as Brandon Bridge that I was part of drafting, that came up from the U.S. but grew up right here, was ready, but the incentive to draft him is not there because in a lot of people's eyes it's a wasted draft pick because he does not count as a Canadian. So we need to make it count, and then. But I will say this, and this is what people don't understand. This is a collective agreement. This is not just the CFL, it's the CFLPA. and there are rules put into place, there are union rules, and as much as we'd like to see that, sometimes it is hampered by the rules of ever happening. It may never happen because of people that have paid their dues because they have a working job, and for someone else to be in line to take a job, it becomes very difficult to pass. So not to get into all that, but there's a lot to it, but I would love to see it happen, and once it does happen, I mean, we just have a young man, O'Connor, that's UBC's quarterback that's with us right now, that will be in the draft next year. He's 6'4", had a scholarship at Penn State, went to IMG for 1 year out of a high school here, and he has a real chance for the future. But he may fall back in the draft and no one wants to draft him. That's why I gave Noah Picton a chance this year. This is a I mean, Noah Picton. Head Fighting Award winner over a year ago. He's not tall. He's 5'9". He's not quite as tall as Doug Flutie, but he's a tremendous quarterback. And he deserves a chance to come into camp. Hopefully we'll get him on the field in the next 2 weeks, and he's going to go back to school and play. So they all need a chance. Yeah.
Picton is one of those guys that people in Western Canada, this kid can play football, and I hope he gets a chance. So when I saw that news, I thought, I love you, Jim Pop, because he's exactly the kid that needs to believe, so that the next kid, the kid in high school, 100%. Believes he will get a chance.
Well, Noah Picton wants to be a coach, too, so he will help prepare the next guy if he's not the one. Yeah, it'll happen.
I've got a question. Will there be more halftime entertainment this year? I know it's difficult on the grass field. I thought, just a small idea, maybe where TSN has their little platform, you could have a local band playing, just be for 2 or 3 songs, but just it creates a little vibe. And also maybe, go through the concourse with a camera. The young people like to see themselves in jumpers. Just kind of walk through the concourse with the camera and just create more of a buzz,
Yeah, I think you'll see more, especially at halftime. The grass is a difficult situation because we have we're actually the only organization in North America that has a soccer and a football team playing on grass. So that does make it difficult. And as much as the soccer team wants a great grass field, so does the football team. So that does make halftime difficult. With that said, Anton Wright and his team who run, down at Air Canada Center, game days for the Leafs and the Raps are going to be involved with our game days here at BMO Field, and they were going to present to me over the next couple of weeks kind of their plans for what they're going to do to bring some energy, bring some excitement. I mean, the video board, right? It's a simple measure that we can do, and so I think. I don't want to promise anything, but you will be, I think, pleasantly pleased with some of the innovations that you'll see from our team. MLSE has won awards in the NHL and the NBA for its game day presentation, and so I defer to that team and what they're going to bring to the Argos, and I think it's going to be really good, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah! All right, we have time for one more.
Come on, I have a good one. Really good one.
I've coached university soccer for the last 6 years, university college soccer. I've been fortunate to go down to the States, Chicago, Seattle, all around there, Minnesota, all around there, there's branding for their football absolutely everywhere, not just in the city, outside the city as well. I understand the MLSC has the money as they play their basketball players, 33 million, 29 million. The CFL salary cap is 5.4 million. I understand it's very, very hard cap and you get punished for going over it. But is the MLSC willing to put the money into the branding to get the Argos platform not only in Toronto, but in Mississauga, Brampton, Oakville, Oshawa, Whitby, Peterborough, and Vaughan, and Burlington, and everywhere else. Just to put into numbers, because there is a numbers guy. The 2 teams in the Stanley Cup final right now, Washington and Las Vegas, both have a population the size of Brampton. If you put that into context, Brampton is not near one of the big cities in the GTA as of yet. So, you guys have the numbers there. Are we willing to spend the money to get our brand complete? completely scattered all over the GTA.
By the way, this band is from Burlington. Give them a shout out. Look, I think that is going to be what the magic of MLSE is, to own this organization. It's no secret. This franchise has struggled a bit over the last 10 to 15 years. Various ownership changes and some neglect in the marketplace. And our goal as a company, and it comes from Larry and George Cope and Edward Rogers, is we need to put this team where our other teams are and make it a staple of this community. So you will see the branding, you will see us get out there. Our broadcast partner TSN is fully committed to this brand and to this league. So yes, but I think it's why MLSE is going to be so invested in the Argonauts. This is not a short-term play for MLSE. If you learned anything about this company, it's going to be a long-term play, and we are in it for the long term. And I just hope I can do my job correctly, and Jim can do his job correctly, and it all comes together. And 10 years from now, you're saying good job. But yes, I think you will see, because of our ownership, more Toronto Argonauts than you've ever seen.
The weather, really, can you guys control the weather for the upcoming season? Can we have 9 perfect weather home games? Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate all the answers. There's a lot of questions.
Thank you.
People want to know, and thank you guys for your questions. They're fantastic. Bill? Jim, thank you. Jim's ring, everybody. Why? Because they get to hang out with you guys. That's awesome. There we go. Oh.
I was just told to remind everyone, we are going to have one special at the stadium I think you all will like. There will be $5 beers. $5 Budweiser and Bud Light at the games this year. I was told to remind everyone.
That's in 4 for 20, 8 for 40. I was going to get hammered for $100. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. Is there a Wilbert Headley in the crowd? Wilbert Headley. Are you actually Wilbert? Wilbert, come on up. You won a special prize.
I'm Wilbur. That ain't Wilbur.
Are you as excited as I am? All right. I got a couple more things to mention before we close up. One of them is we will be meeting here 3 hours before every game this year. And here at the tailgate, we're going to turn up. And not my kids taught me that word. Yes, so. Really cool, really cool. First game of the season, first 6,000 people here, first 6,000 fans will receive a replica ring. All right? So you will receive a replica Grey Cup ring. So I want to shout that out. Be here. Before we close up, though, I need to acknowledge someone. In 2004, I was coaching the Toronto Argonauts. And our quarterback was one Damon Allen. He is here tonight. DA! The reason I brought him here is because 2 years before that, he won the Grey Cup in BC. And I was doing the commentating. And I said, I don't want to commentate, I want to be in the game. And so we got Damon Allen. And I remember saying in the game, I was like, ladies and gentlemen, DA, right? doesn't stand for Damon Allen, it stands for doing it alone, because he was carrying them all by himself, right? But the real reality in our game is we know that we cannot do it by ourselves. And he stood up before the Grey Cup and he looked over at Michael O'Shea. He said, Michael O'Shea, I play this game for you. He looked over at Tony Miles, I play this game for you. Michael Palmer, I play this game for you. You being here is that same thing for us. We thank you for playing this game for us. If you're not here, it's just practice. It doesn't mean anything. So we want to thank you for your contribution. I also want to make mention of another guy who spoke also before that game. He was a defensive back with us, and he had just come with us, and he had come from the NFL, Jordan Young. And he stood up that day and he says, guys, I want to thank you. He says, because it is, I've never felt more wanted on a team before. He says, before everybody wanted me to be on the team for what you could do for them, right? He says, this was the first time I was on a team where they appreciated me first for who I am. He went on to say that his parents had traveled to the game. And he told us that he wore number 26 because his only brother died. And his birthday was numbered on the 26th. He said when he arrived to the hotel, his room number was 726. His brother's birthday was July 26. He said when he and his mom and dad hugged that day, it wasn't about football, it was about family. And that's how we feel about you. It's not just about football, it's about family. When we say pull together, it's because we know you are working with us. We know that you are pulling with us. And so we thank you, we celebrate you, and at the end tonight, we want to end with a pull. When I say pull, you say together, and if you don't feel it in